Mamie belle, la moustache et la capuchon. Casito patanilo, mira tacatiki, 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 mamie belle, la moustache et la capuchon.
What's going on? This is your man John Fortune, your host of the Frustrated Fan Sports Show. And today I'm going to talk about my 4 takeaways from training camp that happened in Richmond this weekend. Well, pretty much the whole week and into this weekend. They were off on Monday. So today I'm just going to explain what was pretty much going on. So my 4 takeaways that I got here. With my takeaways, I got them listed from best to worst. So I just want to give y'all an understanding of why I got these listed in the categories I do and what I feel is going to happen as we go along. So I'm going to get right into it. Number 1, I got our young receiving core. Now, I mean, these guys are looking amazing in camp. Cam Sims, this guy's really stepped up. I mean, he seems like he's ready to play. He seems like he's ready to do everything he wants. It also seems like if he didn't get injured last year, he possibly could have been a major contributor for us last year. And I mean, it seems like he's catching everything. He does have a couple of issues. Just one real issue is that he gets jammed at the line. But once he gets past that, the guy just flats out runs past people and jumps over people. So I love that fact. Terry McLaurin, of course, we've been praising this guy since he's gotten here. He still looks great. Again, he's one of these guys that I think that, again, we got him at a steal in the draft along with Kelvin Harmon, who also looks incredible in camp. So all this has done is made me feel that my assertion of letting Josh Doctson go instead of trying to bring him in and prove himself was just the right thing to say. Because no matter how you look at it, Josh Doctson, with this young receiving core at this point right now, Josh Doctson is just, to me, it's no reason to keeping him here. Another reason I also say, Robert Davis, he's been looking good. We drafted him last year. So he's been looking good in camp as well. So to me, if you're going to give a roster space to a receiver, let Josh Doctson go and give it to Robert Davis, because see if you can develop him. And let's just go ahead and develop these young receivers, because they look great so far. I have to admit, they really do look great. At number 2, I have our defense. Of course, we all came into this off season thinking that our defense was going to be the thing. I actually have to agree. John Bostic, so far, he looks great in our defense. You can kind of tell that he might have run this scheme before, because the way he puts guys in position is just amazing. Sean Dion Hamilton has stepped up again. And this time, I think that with him being paired with John Bostic, we might actually have a really good linebacking core this year. But it also made me understand why they let Mason Foster go, even though I thought he should have been a cap casualty anyway. But still, the fact that John Bostic was able to come in and immediately take over this defense, it's just been impressive, and I'm glad that he's here. When it comes to Montez Sweat, you don't realize how big some of these guys are until you see them in person. Montez Sweat is a big guy, and I mean, it was so incredible to see how big he is, but at the same time to see how fast he is as he wraps around the corners and stuff like that. And to be quite honest, I mean, I don't want to sit up here and really put it out there like that, but I will. As Redskins fans, we haven't had 2 bookends that have been phenomenal together in a very long time. Arakpo could have been something more for us, but the defense that they were running wasn't really fit for him. But from the way Montez Sweat is looking so far, and of course you think of the steady play of Ryan Kerrigan, I actually see remnants of what could possibly be the Charles Mann, Dexter Manley type of combination, because these guys, they look really good together. And you could tell Ryan Kerrigan's leadership means a whole lot, along with John Bostic and also Landon Collins. They're all coming in and pretty much coaching up the young guys. Of course, Jimmy Moreland, he looks great. This guy is just all over the place, and he talks trash all the time, which I thought was just incredible. And also, there's some of the other cornerbacks that's actually looking good. Adonis Alexander, he doesn't look too bad. He looks like he understands that he's playing for his career. So you can tell that he's really trying. At number 3, I got our quarterbacks. Everybody's like, Colt is what he is. To me, I don't understand the love affair that Jay Gruden has for Colt McCoy. I mean, he doesn't have a lot of arm strength. He's not really strong when it comes to the deep ball, but he knows the system. But again, I think that we've only seen Colt maybe about 10 games since in his whole career here. So, I mean, to me, at some point, we are going to have to move on from Colt, and I don't understand why it's not this year. Case Keenum. Case Keenum does look good in the offense, but he does have those moments where he throws a pick or throws 2 picks in back-to-back series. I'm going to be honest. I don't understand why everybody wants Case Keenum to start. And the reason why I say that is because I remember going to training camp when Mike Shanahan was here, and they were going with John Beck and Rex Grossman. And to be quite honest, Case Keenum reminds me a lot of how Rex Grossman was practicing. I mean, you could tell that he was the quarterback that you should start. And if y'all remember, Santana Moss gave Rex Grossman a ringing endorsement about how he was the best quarterback for us to play with to win games. So just like Case Keenum recently got the ringing endorsement from Adrian Peterson. But he had these mental lapses where he would just throw a ball out of nowhere. And the last thing I need is for us to repeat what we did when Rex Grossman was in the Philadelphia Eagles game, and he didn't get benched until he threw 6 interceptions. So, I mean, even though I understand that, Case is a veteran and all that type of stuff, I'm not sure if I really still want him to start, because I just feel that if you put a guy who's quote unquote a gunslinger behind an offensive line that you're not really certain of, I think you run the risk of him throwing far more interceptions because of the fact that he's going to be in the mentality where he's just throwing the ball and he's not paying attention to the reads or the people that's coming across. And last year in Denver, that showed that when he's in an offense that he's not quite familiar with, he's going to make tons and tons of mistakes. So I don't see why everybody's so pumped up about Case, but again, like I said, when I was looking at him, he just reminds me of Rex Grossman. He reminds me a lot of Rex Grossman. Last but not least, Dwayne Haskins. I think this guy is going to be good in the long run. But the one's like a guy who does better in a game than he does in practice. And when I say that, I think that because his mentality at Ohio State was that, okay, it's practice. I think that's probably why he probably got beat out by JT Bird the year before, and which is why he only started 1 year. But I think he's he's probably just a really bad practice player, but he's probably a phenomenal in-game performer. Now, looking at what he was doing, his deep ball is incredible. He has the best deep ball of everybody. You could tell he still needs work. I said something on my draft show, on my mock draft show about him and the fact that he's not really accurate when it comes to being on the run, and he's got to throw the ball. But other than that, the guy is just you could tell he's young, but you could also tell that when the coaches talk to him, he's also learning immediately, because the one thing I noticed that after he was talked to or they spoke to him, he came back out and he did phenomenal things. Like he went out there and he started throwing the ball better and everything. So I think that that's the ultimate thing, where he's starting to realize that practice in the NFL should be similar to in-game performance. So I just think that he was probably a bad practice player, but he's probably a phenomenal in-game performer. And last but not least, and this is my worst when it comes to what happened over training camp, is the offensive line. Trent, you can clearly see that Trent's leadership is needed, because the whole time a lot of things were going on, like the defense was kind of beating them up a little bit. Now, the last practice, the offense actually kind of got the best of the defense, but they were doing a lot more throwing and stuff. But you can really tell that the offensive line misses Trent's leadership. And I don't know if the offensive linemen are, playing because they want to make sure that they support Trent as much as possible. Morgan Moses wore Trent's number 71 at practice on Sunday. And to be quite honest, this offensive line, it doesn't look the same without Trent, because that left side looks bad. That left side looks really, really bad. And they're trying to plug and play so many different guys, but it's just not working. Like I said, Tyler Cantalina, he's not bad. It's just that you can tell that he just needs more work a little bit. And Morgan Moses and, of course, Brandon Sheriff, of course, they solidifying the right side. The one thing I noticed is that they started to, at one time, they used to run a lot on the left side with Trent. Now they're starting to switch it over to the right side, where you're seeing them doing a lot of running plays and a lot of plays towards the right. I guess they're already assuming that Trent is not coming back. So, that's my 4 takeaways from training camp over the weekend. I'm going to keep y'all updated on what's going on with training camp and everything. My format for the show is getting ready to change, because I'm actually going to do a around the league type thing, where I actually interview fans of other teams to find out what they're actually expecting from their teams, to see what goes on in the NFL. And also, I'm actually going to do a lot of fans that, their team is actually going to be facing the Redskins this year. So keep an eye out for that. Other than that, this is your man, John Fortune, and this has been the Frustrated Fan Sports Show.